Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel RJ Trades. If you have not liked or subscribed, please don't forget to like and subscribe for all the videos. So today, a lot of people requested maybe do a review on Palantir IPO. So which gonna happen on Wednesday. So I'm not sure about the time. They usually kind of start around 12. So let's see what time they open. But they are definitely going public on Wednesday, this Wednesday. So let's get started. So Palantir is almost like pretty old company, almost 17 years. The ticker they are going with is PLTR, and they are data company. Their business mostly their most of their customer is government. So U.S. government is their major customer. So yeah, the IPO price is they are saying like expecting it to go around $10, which puts them at the valuation about $22 billion. And from what I gather, their revenue is pretty much, I think they're expecting about $1 billion. If that's the case, I don't think it's really up in the year. They are losing money, but if you look at that, all this startup company, they usually lose money. They have been in the business for a while, but their growth rate is about their revenue growth is about 50%. So that's pretty good. And it was co-founded by billionaire Peter Thiel, who was also early investor in Facebook's and PayPal. So those were and they never reported a profit. In fact, in 2019, the net loss was almost 579 billion. But these company, like when they are growing really rapidly, they are spending a lot of money in acquisitions and other costs, hiring the top talent and things like that. But once they get the traction, they have the name and everything. So if you look at a lot of company, right, if you look at the CrowdStrike too, they're not making money, and they recently posted profitable quarter. And same with the lot of Twilio or other companies, and if you look at their pretty much all those companies from when they started, they are almost like 3-4 times than their IPO price. So it could be a good opportunity, again depending how they can keep up with the growth and whatnot. But there are some of red flags for this company. One things I noticed was they have precisely 125 customer, which is in the lower end of it. Like when if you don't have a lot of customer, that makes you in a risk. So even if you lose few customer, you're losing a big portion, right? So usually, and the other thing is like they do not cater to mom and pop shop. They are targeting the business, like a U.S. government or any, I think, government outside too, or a big enterprise company. So it's harder for them to sell, and that's why the sales cost is up huge, because you have to have in a multiple phase of so just to acquire customers, you'll have a lot of costs. It's not like $10 membership where you can just test it out. These are expensive, and which tells so their average the revenue per customer was about $5.6 million, which is quite a big amount. Where if you look at a lot of the SaaS company, they are doing like $10, $20, $30, $40, right? For those, acquisition is really easy. It's not hard. I mean, you can sign up for a 50 or $100 product, but it will be really hard for you to sign up 5.6. In fact, a small business can't afford that. So you have to be making millions or even billions to just afford them. And also, they said like 40% of their revenue is generated in US and 60% generated internationally, which is good thing. But one thing I noticed kind of fun, or so the company says that is a client in 150 countries, but as I told you before, they have 125 customer in total. So math don't add up quite as the writer had said. But yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know what they missed out, but yeah. And their 53.5% of their revenue is from the government contract. So they are heavily dependent on the government. So one thing could be, if something happens and government decided to go with something, that's a huge risk too, right? You are losing almost half of your revenue. So yeah, that's pretty. But glad like they are not only in the US, they are internationally, and hopefully they are growing. So that's a good thing. And I was just kind of looking at a lot of other stock like D-Dog, Datadog, they kind of do. And Palantir main business is data, so they gather big amount of data and analyze and kind of make it like more informative, like cleans that data or whatever they do. But basically they are like a data gathering and data mining company. So if you look at the Datadog, pretty much when they IPO'd the $40 around and almost double. And lot of company, right? uh, Not necessarily, but I'm just kind of looking at. And if you look at Snowflake, they are also in the same business as them, kind of, but their valuation is like insane. They are almost like what, I think some $67 billion. So I don't know what was their revenue, but so okay, so their 2019 revenue was 264. Wow. So they did lose like 358 million too, but their revenue is seems doesn't seems like that great. um, I mean, if Palantir is making $1 billion, they are definitely ahead. But one thing is like this is probably like use as you go. uh, you don't have a huge cost, so even a smaller business can start up. And probably with the Palantir, it's gonna be quite hard. And the company said it's a third quarter revenue of 278 million to 280, so that kind of adds up, right? 250, so almost $1 billion in a year. Or their growth is 46 to 47%, almost 50% growth, which is great. And their revenue forecast is 1.05 billion, uh, and year over year growth is 41%, 41 to 43, which is awesome. And they're saying like they're gonna grow 30% in 2021, which is pretty good. If they can keep up with the cost. If they, let's say, if 20-25% growth, they can literally double in 2-3 years. So I wouldn't say they would be highly valued. Pretty, I mean, they are pretty much all tech companies are pretty high valued. But the thing is, like, you got to look at the growth number. If they can keep growing like that. Also, Palantir said like the addressable market is 110 billion or something, at least like 100 billion plus, which is a huge market if they can get up to, let's say, like half of those, right? So I'm pretty sure there are a lot of companies like Tableau does the same things with Salesforce acquire, so that's a big company. So there are a lot of company around that area, a lot of established. And but let's see what happens. So let me know, let me put in a comment, right? Like, what do you guys think? Are you getting in? Are you buying? For me, I may get some shares if you open like maybe 10-12 dollars. But if you go like 20-30, just like the Snowflake, no, I may not. So let's see how they open. But if it's $10 or $12, I may risk a couple hundred shares and see how they do. But yeah, that's about it. If you know some things, or if you have any more questions or comment about it, just write it down. Or even if you have any more information about Palantir, please do write it down in the comment. But that's it for today. Thank you.